Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, blue dot, living in a red state, utilizing Tarot to help us navigate these interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So, really glad that you're here and welcome. And if I could just ask real quick for you to like and subscribe, it just helps me grow my channel, and I really do appreciate it. Maybe you're not ready to subscribe, and that's okay. But the that helps too. So, any little thing that you can do to help me grow my channel, I really do appreciate it. So thank you. The focus of today's reading is going to be about Harvard. Now, I was like, I think I did a reading on Harvard, and I checked, and it was about a month ago, and I got that they would fight and that they would be winning. And so the reason I want to do a follow-up on that was because there was a Bulwark video, and it was Sam Stein and JVL. And Sam was asking JVL about, what, is Harvard, can they withstand the Trump administration? And JVL said something that was just like, oh my God. It was very eye-opening. And he goes, the question isn't whether or not Harvard will fail. The question is whether or not the courts will fail Harvard. And it was like, oh, crap. That was like, whoo, that was a moment. And so what I want to do today, so far the courts have been holding. I mean, that's absolute. The courts have been holding. And so what I want to look at today is that are the courts going to continue to hold as it relates to Harvard? Right now, Trump is wanting to take away the tax exempt status. He legally can't do that. That is a political motivation and revenge thing that is not legally allowed. He's wanting to, some of the funding has been frozen. I think some of it, if not all of it, has been unfrozen, but it's the appeals process. And we know, the court administration loves it whenever, they're told no. And they love, ignoring the courts. And then, what else and then the latest has been wanting to they want the list of names and countries of the international students, and they also want to put a stop to Harvard enrolling international students. Now, the judge there has said that they are going to block that. So courts are holding. So what I want to look at today, base reading Harvard and the courts. And really the focus of today's reading is going to be, are the courts going to continue to hold as it relates to Harvard fighting against Trump? So, as always, these are for entertainment purposes only. Are the courts going to continue to hold as it relates to Harvard's fight against Trump and his little fascist wannabe dictator takeover of a private university, which is older than our country? So, is there going to be a liberal bias to this? Oh, yes, there is. But it's not, what's interesting is it's not just liberal bias, it's the courts telling Trump no. So what I want to know is are the courts going to continue? Are the courts going to hold as it relates to Harvard specifically? Okay, and the courts with Harvard. This is a card of looking out into the future, waiting for your ships to come in. And so this is telling me that this is a card, it's actually a card of growth. And so this is definitely Harvard. And I just see them as just this. The more I learn about Harvard, it's like, wow, that is just a really amazing institution. I had no idea about, the Harvard. I don't even know what the fund is and helping students go to school there. It's just, they do some amazing work. And then, also the research. So yeah. So the heart of this is just Harvard, and this is a very open card. It just feels very open. What's crossing it, the challenge is just everything that it's like all the good that they do is been put on pause. It's being put on hold right now by this Trump administration, who, if you look at it as reversed or lower energy reading, is they don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to what they're trying to do to Harvard. But what, ultimately, if they can't stop them through the courts, what they can do is they can slow down Harvard's progress. And that right now is, It's not as good as being able to take over the university, but they'll take it. They'll be like, well, at least we're slowing them down. Okay. The options, they are trying to bankrupt Harvard. And from what I understand is that was a really good Bulwark video. And JVL was like, they're not going to bankrupt them. Okay. They're not going to. So, but this is really just kind of, I'm getting the feeling of trying to wear Harvard down to where they eventually give in. The past experiences is the betrayal that this government has done against, just our country. Okay. It's, that research that Harvard does benefits our country. Having diverse, students helps our country. All of this, Harvard, is a lifelong longer than our country, institution that does good for our country. And right now, the Trump administration is trying to break that. Okay, the recent influences, people rise up, and the potential is, information. This is the messaging and things being brought to light. I kind of almost wonder if this isn't Pam Bondi trying to find other ways to other things that they can do to make this stop within the within Harvard. So it's like the courts. I'm just looking here of, they do good work that's being paused. They're having to spend resources and time and energy into these, attacks from our own government. And then you get people uprising. So what this is telling me is that the attacks are going to continue as long as this administration is in office. So, will the courts hold? Okay, let's just ask, will the courts hold? Because that's really what I want to know. Are the courts going to hold? In the center of this, I'm going to take this as Harvard as, the strongest, well funded establishment. They've got that Harvard fund, and it has a name, but whatever that name of that fund is, they have deep pockets. They can weather this storm. Okay. The challenge is, yes, the courts. Are the courts going to hold? And with that going in a new direction, I think so. Because it's like the Trump administration doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. This was coming up here in the center of Harvard has got the lawyers and the law on their side. Remember, pages, you don't want to go into battle with them. And the pages with, these lawyers coming out of the DOJ, there's nothing that there's no law that they can use to defend this other than, well, Trump said so. Okay. Well, that isn't really a legal reason. And the money, the lawyers, they've got they have the lawyers, they have the money on their side for Harvard and patients. They can wait this storm out. Okay. Let me just do 3 cards. Are they going to lose their tax exempt status? And losing tax exempt, coming together, like this, it literally comes to an end. And legal, I'm almost getting the feeling, I don't think that they're going to lose their tax status. It's almost like this message, like what the Trump administration is trying to do comes to an end, and because of like something else. And okay, pull this up here real quick. I keep getting this in a lot of these. Sorry, this is all weird. What I'm getting, and I'm getting this more and more, is like there's all of this stuff, and then like Harvard is fighting and they're going to court, and then it just like, and then there's like nothing. Like, okay, we can wait them out, we can be patient. Okay, that's not really a we're going to go into a new direction. These aren't real strong ending cards. Now, this death card is. That's an ending, but it's almost like an end to like what the Trump administration is like. This message of we have to do this comes to an end because the courts put it to an end. But I'm also getting this feeling like all of this stuff, you get this initial, and then it's like, and and what it's, so the feeling I'm getting is like there's something else, and it's all roads lead to the Tower card. Whatever an anonymous is doing, I mean, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting here with this, is that there's something else, there's other messaging that brings this administration to a stop through other action. So, and that this is not Harvard, okay? This, I mean, it could be, but I'm not really feeling like this is Harvard. I think that this is something else that brings all of this to a stop. And I'm getting this feeling and this message more and more often. So, with this, I'm going to say, with what I'm getting today, and, as a follow-up to that other reading that I did, what was it, a month or two ago, that the courts will not fail Harvard, okay? The Harvard's going to be, I mean, they're spending a lot of resources, and energy on this, but they're going to, and that will be sorted out, later. But Harvard is not going to fail. The courts are not going to fail. What's going to fail is this administration, and that it's failing to where all of this is kind of like a moot point. Like, this doesn't even matter, because when this administration comes to an end, all of these attacks on all of these institutions ends. So I think that June is going to be very interesting, especially towards the end of June. I'm really curious as to what Anonymous comes up with. I do have that follow-up reading with Anonymous. I'm not sure what order I'm posting things, so definitely check out that Anonymous reading. As I said, if it's not up yet, it will be up soon. For this reading, I'm going to link the Harvard. I'll link Harvard, the first reading I did, and then the subscribe. So thank you very much for joining me. I will catch you on the next reading, and have a good day.